What's up? It's me, D.W.C, and this is going to be the last episode of my 2016 MLB season predictions. Today we have the NL West. Finishing it off, we're going to start out in reverse order with the Colorado Rockies, who finished last season at 68 and 94. The Rockies lineup is looking pretty good, with Nolan Arenado, who had a great year last year, followed by Carlos Gonzalez, who had 40 home runs, another good year last year, Blackmon, Parra, and then Jose Reyes, who's on paid leave to start the year with his domestic abuse situation. Now, the part of the team where the Rockies lack the most is the rotation. The rotation is looking really bad to start the year, with De La Rosa leading the way, followed by Chad Batiste, Chatwood, Lyles, and youngster John Gray. That rotation's not looking very promising for this season for them. Their bullpen, however, is looking pretty strong. They brought in a nice few guys in the bullpen, top-level guys, in Jason Mott, Chad Qualls, McGee, and returning Boone Logan and the rest of the guys out in that bullpen. Notable moves for the Rockies, we have trading Corey Dickerson for Jake McGee. That's going to help shore up their bullpen towards the end of games. All-star level reliever there. As well as bringing in Jason Mott and Chad Qualls in the bullpen. That's really going to shore up their bullpen this year for late in games. They also brought in Mark Reynolds for some pop off the bench and Gerardo Parra to replace Corey Dickerson. Next up, we have the San Diego Padres, who finished last season in 4th place with 74 wins and 88 losses, 18 games back of first place. The Padres is another one of those teams who are projected to have a pretty poor year. There's not many rosters this season, probably 6 or 7, that look like they're going to have really tough years. The rest of the rosters look like they have a chance to contend for a playoff spot or at least a wild card. But the Padres are projected to have a bad season. Looking at their lineup, you have Matt Kemp, Will Myers, Yangervis Solarte, Alexi Ramirez, which is an interesting addition for a team that's looking to get younger and build for the future, as well as Derek Norris. So that lineup's decent, but nothing special. The rotation is good, with Tyson Ross, James Shields, and Andrew Kashner leading the way, followed by Rhea and Erlin in the 4 and 5 spots. They also have a good bullpen. Now, noting that their pitching is good, you'd wonder why they're projected to have such a bad year, as their lineup isn't that bad, so maybe they might surprise a few people this season. But their bullpen, they have Fernando Rodney closing out games, then they got Nick Vincent, Brandon Maurer, Drew Pomerantz, who's a new addition, and Quackenbush. Love that name, Quackenbush. Notable additions for the Padres, you have Alexi Ramirez, which, as I mentioned, is an interesting addition for a team that's looking to get younger and build for the future, bringing in an old guy like that. They also brought in John Jay, Fernando Rodney, and Drew Pomerantz. Next, we got the 3rd place finishing Arizona Diamondbacks, who finished last season at 79 and 83, 13 games back at first place. The Diamondbacks were one of the more aggressive teams this offseason, giving Greinke a huge contract, as well as bringing in Shelby Miller and Gene Segura, but we'll talk about that in a couple minutes. So, starting off with their rotation, they got a good-looking rotation, especially the top 3. They got the ace, Zach Greinke, who they signed out of free agency for a lot of money. Be looking for him to replicate his year from last year, where he absolutely dominated. Then you got Shelby Miller, who they definitely overpaid for in that trade, but he'll be looking to come in and pitch well for them this season. Followed by Patrick Corbin returning to the team, De La Rosa, and Robbie Ray. The D-backs also have a pretty good lineup, with Paul Goldschmidt being the superstar player in that lineup, one of the best hitters in the MLB. Also added 21 steals to his game last season, which is impressive for a first baseman to steal 20-plus bags. Then they have A.J. Pollock in center field, who's really proven himself to be an all-star level center fielder. New addition Gene Segura, Wellington Castillo, and Yasmani Tomas. The D-backs have a decent bullpen with Brad Ziegler, Tyler Clippard, Daniel Hudson, Josh Colementor, and Randall Delgado in their depth chart in the bullpen. Now, looking at that bullpen, the one interesting thing is they got a couple of guys who used to be starting pitchers, with Hudson, Colementor, and Delgado, all starting out games in the past, but now being moved to the pen. Notable moves for the Diamondbacks, you have overpaying for Shelby Miller in that trade, giving up first overall pick Dansby Swanson, along with a top pitching prospect. and a major league player in Inciarte. Then you got Zach Greinke, of course, with that massive contract, bringing him in to be the ace in their rotation, all-star pitcher, amazing year last year, looking to repeat that this season. Then Gene Segura, another new addition, who they brought in for Aaron Hill, moving out an older player, bringing in a younger guy at that shortstop position. Adds a lot of speed along with some contact. I think that's a solid addition for that team. And Tyler Clippard, who's a good arm to have out in the bullpen. On to the second place, finishing San Francisco Giants, who finished last season with 84 wins and 78 losses. Not the best season for the Giants, and this is an even year, so that means they're going to win the World Series. But in all seriousness, I do think they're definitely going to improve over that 84-win season last year, finishing 8 games back of the Dodgers for first place. Now, the Giants have a strong rotation, with Bumgarner leading the way, then new additions Johnny Cueto and Jeff Samardzija following him up, and Jake Peavy, Kane, and Heston behind them in the last 3 spots. Looks like a really good rotation to start the year. They also have a good lineup with Buster Posey, Hunter Pence, Brandon Belt, Duffy, Panic, and Brandon Crawford. One weakness is their bullpen. Their bullpen on the depth charts only have 6 arms in there, but those arms are fairly established and good pitchers in the bullpen, so it's not looking too bad. They got Casilla, Sergio Romo, Lopez, Cantos, young power pitcher Strickland, and Osich. Notable additions for the Giants. They didn't do too much, but what they did was very big, bringing in Johnny Cueto, who's an ace-level pitcher at his best for the 2 slot. Jeff Samardzija, who I think's a little bit overrated, but still a good pitcher for the number 3 spot. And Denard Span, who's a good outfielder, adds some contact and a lot of speed and really good fielding to that Giants team. And finishing out with the Los Angeles Dodgers, finished last season winning the division at 92-70. They'll be looking to repeat that and win the division again this year. As we all know, the Dodgers always play well because they spend so much money that if they don't play well, it's kind of embarrassing. A quick note about the Dodgers is on their depth chart, they have 10 listed injuries. That's a crazy amount of injuries going into the start of the season. That's going to be hard for them to overcome, but I'm sure they'll manage to do that. I'm not going to name all the injured players, but a few of them are Hyun-Jin Ryu, Andre Ethier, Howie Kendrick, and Yasmani Grandal. The Dodgers have a good lineup with Adrian Gonzalez, Yasiel Puig, Corey Seager, Turner, Jock Peterson, along with Ethier, Kendrick, and Grandal, who are injured. They also have a good rotation with Clayton Kershaw, Alex Wood, Brett Anderson, who's injured till the All-Star break, new signing Kenta Maeda, Hyun-Jin Ryu, and Scott Kazmir. They have a good bullpen with Kensley Jansen closing out their games, followed by Avilan, Frias, Baez, Howell, and Blanton. Notable additions for the Dodgers. The Dodgers offseason focused mostly on pitching this year, bringing in Alex Wood, Kenta Maeda, Scott Kazmir, and a few bullpen arms I'm predicting because looking at their depth chart, they got a lot of pitchers in the bullpen, and I don't think they were all there last year. I didn't take the time to actually look up every single one, but I'm assuming a couple of those guys are new to the bullpen. So my overall prediction for the NL West, I'm going to go with the Giants to win the division as they've improved a lot this season. I'm going to give them probably the same amount of wins as the Dodgers had last year, probably 92 wins, somewhere around there. Then second place, the Los Angeles Dodgers, falling back to probably around 88 wins, looking for a wild card. Third, repeating their finish from last season, but with more wins, the Arizona Diamondbacks. I think they'll probably finish with a bit over 500 with probably 84, 85 wins. Then the Padres, who I think will finish just under 500 with about 80 wins. And bringing up the rear, the Colorado Rockies. With that pitching, it's looking really rough for them. Their lineup and their bullpen is going to have to play really well to overcome their starting pitching. And I think they're going to finish with around 90 losses this season, possibly even more. They might do better, you never know. It is baseball after all, and any team can overperform and surprise everyone. But looking at that rotation, I'm expecting them to have a rough year with 90-plus losses. So that'll do it for my 2016 MLB season predictions, and I'll see you next time.